Hello, 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 Culture Hubbers, La Mama fans, experimental theater aficionados, New Yorkers, New Yorkers, New Eurasians, all the people out there in the wonderful cyber world. Guess what? It's 7 o'clock in New York City. You know what that means? We thank our first responders. This is an quarantine art extravaganza. But first, I got to say thank you to all the nurses and doctors who are working in the city. And I got to say, fuck you to anyone who's not wearing their mask outside. My dad is 75 years old. He's a doctor, and we do not appreciate your white privilege. All right, we have such an amazing lineup today. I'm going to talk to you all through the night. I'm your host, Kate Siahaan-Rigg. That's right, I'm repping my Asian pride today because it's also Asian American Heritage Month, as started by Jimmy Carter many years ago. Thank you, former President Jimmy Carter, for being decent and kind and inclusive and all the things that we miss so much now. Speaking of inclusivity, we have put together at Café La MaMa tonight for you on the Cinco de Mayo. This fifth installment of Café La MaMa is all hyphenates. It's all artists who have kind of what I would call like a peacock tail of career feathers to share with you. Each of them will be doing one thing from their repertoire of talents, but we're going to have some really interesting conversations about what it is to be an artist in New York, especially at this time of COVID, and what it is to really define yourself as an artist in the 21st century. So our first performer this evening, oh my God, I'm so happy she's here. She is, gosh, what can I tell you about this performer? She is perhaps most well known as a Jesus baby on a decorative plate, which is what her first ever job was. She was also one of the singers with the mega pop band Scissor Sisters, the Scissor Sisters. It's a euphemism for lesbian sex, but also it's a pop band. And she's also a really well-known downtown performer, performance artist, solo artist, and actress. Please welcome to the Café La MaMa cyber stage, the lovely and talented Bridget Barkan.
Hello, beautiful people. So happy to be here. I'm a little pixelated, but I'm a mosaic. I'm a mosaic of art. I'm going to sing a song for you from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it is definitely one of my favorite movies, musical, epic experiences of my childhood. I got to go see it as a kid on St. Mark's. And I love this song so much. And I also think it has a different meaning right now since so many of us can't touch each other. I was feeling done in, couldn't win. I'd only ever kissed before. I thought there's no use getting into heavy petting. It only leads to trouble and silhouetting. Now I wanna know how to go. I've tasted blood and I want more. I put up no resistance. I want to stay the distance. I've got an itch to scratch. I need a assistance. Touch me. I wanna be
while you pose. I'll oil you up and rub you down, 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 down. And that's just one small fraction of the main attraction. You need a friendly hand, and I need action. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me. I wanna be dirty. Thrill it, show me, fulfill me. Creatures of the night. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me. I wanna be dirty. Thrill it, show me, fulfill me. Creatures of the night. 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 Oh, creatures of the night. Creatures of the night. Oh, creatures of the night. I want you to touch me. Ooh, I want to reach out and touch you. And I know that I can't touch you right now, but I'm going to touch you. I'm going to touch you in my mind's eye. I'm going to touch you in my meditation. I'm going to touch you in my imagination. I'm going to touch you, my creatures of the night. Hear it. Am I still here? I can't hear Kate though. Hey, Bridget, were you going to do a second song, or is that it for right now?
I can do a second song.
I think she was going to do a second song, Pierce, and then we're going to come back to her. Yeah, baby, that was Bridget Barkan. Here she goes. She's got one more for you. Do it, do it, do it, do it.
This is an original song. It was actually while I wrote it while I was on tour with Scissor Sisters, and I was going through a lot, you know, because even though I was traveling around the world, I was still confronting myself on a regular basis of the kind of artist that I wanted to be. And I felt like I was always carrying too much. So I actually was at the airport and I had too much stuff in my suitcases. And the baggage guy was like, "Girl, what do you got in there?" He's like, you gotta pack light, you know, like Erykah Badu says. Well, he didn't say that part, but you gotta pack light. And this is how it goes. I am hearing someone in my headphones. There we go. Okay, now I got it. I went to the airport on my trail. Man took my bags, put them on the scale. They're heavy, too heavy. What you got in them, girl? A ton of bricks? No, just makeup, shoes, heartbreak, the basics. He said with that pretty face, you could drop some weight. Now it's a tipping service, so I gave him 5. He had a tip for me, and he flashed a smile. He took my things and said, travel light, 'cause there's a lot in a little when you put God in it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I spent the day in a field of grass. I saw a man sitting on a bench with the saddest eyes, with the saddest eyes.
and green, got holes in his soul, no place to go but crazy. As I sat beside him, I cracked a joke. He took out a light and asked for a smoke. I said no, but I can give you a hug and some universal love. 'Cause there's a lot in a little when you put God in it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But I went to the hill with the kings and queens, their big houses and expensive dreams. They can make you, oh, but they can't break you. No box, no label, gonna send me to the top. I'm solid where I stand, singing on my block, on these city streets. You can watch me rock, yeah, I'm ready. Because all I know is we're all stars. You shine on what you do, you shine on who you are, and you're shining right from your heart. Oh, I got everything I need, everything I need, everything I need. 'Cause there's a lot in the little when you put God in it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, there's a lot in a little when you put God in it. A lot in a little when you put love in it. A lot in a little when you put truth in it. A lot in a little when you put justice in it. There's a lot in a little when you put God in it. A lot in a little when you put love in it. A lot in a little when you put truth in it. A lot in a little when you put justice in there. There's a lot in a little. There's a lot in a little. There's a lot in a little. A lot in a little. A lot in a little. There's a lot in a little. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, Queen. Yes, there is a lot in a little when you put love in it, even if you're broadcasting from your closet. No
I'm in
pun
a
intended.
closet.
I know you're back in the closet, Bridget Barkan. How's it feel?
You know, I don't know why I liked it in here for so long.
I like you
It's just
swigging.
so
I like you swigging that
claustrophobic.
water bottle. Like we don't know that there's tequila in there. Ay, 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 Cinco de Mayo.
Planned Parenthood, shout out.
Bridget Barkan, let's have a little brief chit chat about your career as an artist in New York City. Before we do, I want to send a little shout out to our friend Eric, who's watching from New Zealand. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Thank you for the well wishes for the New York City. So, Bridget, you know, one of the things about this show at Café La MaMa is finding about the lives, the loves, the dreams, the hopes, the fears of artists living and working in various mediums in New York City. And you've had a really diverse career so far.
I have.
So let's talk, we'll talk about the past and so tell me about the future. What do you've been spending a lot of time in that closet, I guess. So what have you been thinking about now as an artist?
You know, I had gone through a period of time where I was giving a lot, and I still give. I mean, as an artist, like that's what we do. Like we go inside, we get our shovels, we go into the dirt of our souls, we unbury some truths and some half truths and maybe some, leftover potato chips and socks in there too, and we figure out what to do with all that stuff that lives inside of us. And I think it's so important to be balanced in that process. And I not only perform regularly, but I'm also a teaching artist, and I work with youth in detention, and I work with teen mothers, and I've been giving myself a lot, as well as an occasional acting job here or there, a little one-off at Joe's Pub, and I write songs for different companies, I do jingles, so I give a lot. And I think, especially being a hustle and bustler, born and raised New Yorker, that's like my norm, is to be busy and to be vibrating at that frequency. But my spirit is actually a nymph from the woods, and
Her
she,
spirit is a nymph from the woods. She lives in the dirty, dirty New York City. She performs with burlesque artists and strippers down at Duane Park. But she also like brings it uptown to Joe's Pub at the Public Theater for her one-person shows. But inside her, ladies and gentlemen, is a nymph running in the woods. Have you been able to run in the woods during this pandemic, or where are you?
yes, actually, I have been quarantined in New Hampshire, and so I have been really blessed to be in the woods here, and getting to commune with nature in a way that my soul really, truthfully, very much needed. And so this, in terms of like the present, moving forward, future artistry wise, I had needed to kind of set a reset button for myself. And I feel like that reset has allowed me to put certain practices into place for myself. Like I'm a daily meditator, and I'm really deeper into that now. And that's been really, especially, ultimately, we as artists need to be affected by the world. Like, that is what we do. But we can also be too affected by the world. So we
Are
have
you
to be,
writing right now? Have you found the space inside yourself to write during this thing?
I've been doing a lot of things that I've been doing just for fun. Like, I have a friend who we do comedy songs together. So we did a song. I told her the other day, and I was like, those creepy guys that always like are like, you want to see my bunker? I'm ready for the apocalypse. And you're like, ew, you're crazy.
Yeah, nobody
So
says that to me, but
and I was
I'm
like,
not a redhead, so I'm not surprised. They probably, what they're saying to me is like, Kofi, get away, stop. You know what I mean? Shit is
that's fucked
racist
up.
right now out there. I'm not getting invited into any bunkers.
I
SARS.
I want you in my bunker. I
Oh,
want you
that's
in my
nice.
bunker.
I'll come into your
But
closet with you.
but anyway, so I was saying that to my friend, and I was like, you know what? Now all I want is a survival man. So we wrote a funny song where we do like a country song called Survival Man. And funny enough, I've just been kind of writing a lot of small songs, here and there. And I've been listening to a lot of country, which is
You know
weird.
what? I'm glad to hear it because a lot of artists, I think those of us who are in the city, it's 50-50. Some are writing and some are having a little trouble, and they're just like sitting back and listening and trying to figure out what the next. I know a lot of people are trying to get tech savvy, like it's a whole thing. Where can people find you and your work on the internets and on social, and how can they support you, Bridget Barkan?
You can find me on Instagram, Bridget Barkan. You can find me on all the things, Bridget Barkan. And I actually write songs for a living. So if you need a song, if you want a song dedication, a birthday song, a song for an anniversary, a song for your baby, your own personalized lullaby, I do songwriting sessions. I love to write with people. I love taking people's memories, words, anecdotes, phrases,
She's
everything they go
very good
through.
at it. I know she is because I've worked on a few things with her and she's good at it. And also, you can hit her up just to write a song for you, to sing it for you like a gift to your loved ones. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of shit going on. I urge you to check out Bridget Barkan on social media and on all the .coms. Please hit follow. Please hit follow. It's like people feel like it's in their wallet. Like, I only have 3 follows this week. I have to just hit fucking follow, okay? It helps artists. It helps us. And it's free for you. And you get to hear some more wonderful music and all the news and maybe go see her at a burlesque show. You don't know what's going to happen to you. Thank you, Bridget Barkan. I'll see you at the end of the show. I love you, love you, love you.
I love you. Bye.
All righty. Well, that was a groovy way to start Café La MaMa. Now we've got an even groovier way to start. Well, not groovier, different groovy. This next artist I met, her name's Amy Ziff, and I met her years ago when I was honored to share the stage with the iconic feminist girl band Betty. You know them from the L Word. They wrote the theme song. You know them from HBO Encyclopedia, where they were the band in residence. You know them from pretty much every feminist rally, from the Women's March to the Pride parades that happen all over the world and in New York City, particularly where they're based. Amy Ziff is one of the founders of the girl band Betty. And oh shit, hold on. Sorry. Phone's ringing. Hello? What do you mean? Well, is she, okay. Well, who's gonna, Okay, okay, I got you. All right, thank you. Oh God, you guys, La Mama, I'm sorry. That was Amy's manager. She's at the airport right now. I think something you didn't know was that Amy's also involved in a lot of psychological training for people working on pandemics. She's a amateur environmental immunologist, and she also participates in legal and semi-legal experiments with other species. So she's just been flown out to another city to continue some of her important work during this pandemic. So she's not going to be with us today. And I was just informed by her manager that her house sitter is going to step in for her. I guess because they already set up the set or something. She has someone watering her plants uh, in her apartment. So I guess I'm just going to introduce to you now our next surprise guest, Mrs. Ida Goldberg. Are you there, Ida? Mrs. Ida Goldberg.
I'm not really very good at all the technical things, but I'm happy to be here and help her out.
Oh, I see.
Because, excuse me?
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
What was your name again?
I'm Kate. I'm Amy's friend, Kate.
Yes, Kim, nice to meet you. Anyway, I've helped her in the past, and she's a very busy girl, and she goes around singing and things like that. So I come in and I water her cactus plants, because if it were up to her, they would die a million deaths. But I'm happy to help, just like I'm happy to help today. So did you want me to talk about things that are happening right now in New York City? Because that's what her girl said to me on the phone.
Yes.
Anyway, what?
No,
Kim, I can't hear you.
Well, no, Ida, I was just going to say thank you so much for taking this time at the last minute to be with us.
You're welcome, but please don't try to interrupt me anymore, because I lose my train of thought, and that's what young people do today. They interrupt, and you don't even know what you're saying anymore. Let me tell you something. I've had a couple of scares. I thought, God forbid, I thought that I had the thing, because every time I sat down, I couldn't breathe. So I called my granddaughter, and I called my sister, and I called everybody, and my grandson said, Mama, Mama, Mama. That's what he calls me sometimes. It's kind of crazy, but I was like, maybe stand up, and you stand up, and then when you sit down, is it harder? When you stand up, is it harder? Stand up, sit down. He said, look around. Is he wearing a tight belt or something? So I said, oh my God, I've been wearing the same fakakta underpants that cut me like a knife. Cut me like a knife right here. They cut me like a knife. So I ordered, but who knows when it's going to get. So I looked in my drawer from the big pants time, and I found a pair that are nice and clean and big. I put them on, and lo and behold, I wasn't eviscerated anymore. I had my breath, and I didn't think, okay, it's good. I don't have the thing because, God forbid, I know a lot of people do, and we're trying very hard in New York to keep up the faith and be positive. But if you're feeling a little bit of pain, why don't you check your underwear first, is all I can say, because maybe you'll spare yourself a lot of misery. Anyway, that's my one story about my scare. Was there anything you wanted to add or ask me about while I'm here in her apartment?
You know, that was such an important piece of advice for people, that if you think you might have the thing, and we all know what the thing is right now, you might want to check if you're wearing your thin, what were you wearing? Your tight underpants? You just wore them too long.
I don't know where they came from. You know, when you're home, you try during this time to put on a little lipstick, to wear your nice blouse. But sometimes you go into the drawer and you say, oh, well, I'll wear these. What does it matter anyway? Everybody's worrying about you, but they don't care really what you look like, because you're not going anywhere. Anyway, you shouldn't be going anywhere. That's another story. And don't get me started with that, because I see those people out there walking around with nothing on, and boy, do I want to talk to them. Or maybe their mothers or something like that. Anyway, check it here. If it hurts and it gives like a knife, then change your underwear and then call everybody and tell them you're okay.
you know what? I am going to change my underwear right after this broadcast, and then I will call everyone and tell them I'm okay. That is
I
very
wish
good.
it was as easy as that, Kim. I really do. But it's a little bit more complicated nowadays. All I can tell you is this. I'm glad I was here for you. I like to be helpful. And
So
I
helpful.
want everybody to know that you can worry about the older people, your grandparents. Tell them, call them. It doesn't take something like this in the air to give them a call, for God's sake. So you probably have to call them anyway. But just keep up the faith, everybody. New York has been there before. We'll go back stronger, and I'm happy to help. Anything else you want from me?
Yeah, before I let you go, Ida, I was just wondering, have you been making any big plans for when the country finally opens up again?
Oh, gee, now that's a question and a half. I don't make big plans, I make plans, and then the plans make plans, and sometimes they happen and sometimes they don't. I try to be helpful. I don't want to disappoint. And so if a party happens and I happen to be in the middle of it, so be it. Maybe there'll be a party or two. First of all, we'll be sad. Second of all, we'll be strong. Third of all, we'll continue on. We're New Yorkers. We've seen it before. We'll go on. And it'll keep on going. You're young, so you have to just remember, take into account everybody else that's around here. And the cousins and the sisters and the husbands and the wives and the lovers and the animals. Everybody's got to say. Everybody. I'm happy to help. I was really happy to be
You were
here.
so helpful. Ida, before you go, one quick question. What is your favorite thing about living in New York? And what is your least favorite thing about living in New York?
I'm a New Yorker. How could you ask a crazy question like that? I thought you were on a good way. And then all of a sudden you ask a fakakta question like that. What do you mean, what's your favorite thing? What's your worst thing? It's a New York. It's a New York thing. Everything is wrong and everything is right. But I'm going to tell you something. These days, it doesn't matter how many things are wrong. You've got to get a positive attitude. In other words, water the flowers. Water the flowers at your neighbor's house if she's not around. Try to be helpful and try to make sure that you're not complaining too much when there's nothing to complain about. That's what I'm going to say. If you want to come over and take care of somebody afterwards, do it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Ida Goldberg, for taking time out of your house sitting duties at Amy's house. Tell Amy that we love her and we wish her good luck in her quarantine and in her top secret work that she's doing out there in the pandemic.
She's a little bit sugar too, just between both of us.
All right. Well, we won't talk about it too much. I'll make sure to tell everybody your underpants advice. I haven't heard that advice before for the COVID, so I'm really happy to hear it. And what a pleasure it was to talk to you. Have a wonderful evening. Everybody say bye to Ida.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This is Ida Goldberg.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Oh, God.
You know what? That was Mrs. Ida Goldberg. And I think that, God, she looks so much like Amy Ziff of Betty. It's almost uncanny, isn't it? Isn't it uncanny? It's a little weird, but I love it. Let's see who's watching us. Oh, there's some people watching us from Toronto. There's some people watching us from Los Angeles. Hola, hombres, Julio y Freddy's. Hi, from New York City. I see you. And now, it's time. It's time, Olivia. Is it time? I think it's time. Just wait a second. So I have another guest artist for you. I mean, the fun never stops here at Café La MaMa. Our next guest is what I call a Broadway baby. You know, I'm trying to bring you a real authentic New York artist experience with all these people who do multiple things in their careers, all these people who really embody the spirit of New York, especially during this time where we're taking a beating right now in New York. I think it's good to have people in your living room that have the resilience of artists and the creative thought and a way to at least mentally try and work out some of the pain and some of the consternation we all may be feeling in the American nation. So next, is a wonderful performer who got her. She's been in hundreds of commercials. First of all, as a little child, she was in all kinds of commercials. She was also on Sesame Street. Were you on Sesame Street as a little child? Yes, and she played. What's the name of your character in Les Mis?
Oh, young Cosette.
Young Cosette in Les Mis on Broadway. That was like her first big Broadway role. She's been on Broadway a couple of times since, and lots of off-Broadway shows. She was on last season of Instinct on television. She's well known in many mediums, and you might not know this, but also a talented jewelry maker, which we'll talk about afterwards. She's also one of my quarantine partners. I know, it's so exciting. And she's Asian American. This is like a threefer for you all. My quarantine partner, Asian Heritage Month. She's a Broadway person. So we're going to bring you her just in 1 second, but I'm so honored to introduce to you the song stylings of Olivia Oguma.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can't lose sight of it all. The darkness still inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful. Lying in my bedroom, clock tick, and I think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback to warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase memories, time after some time you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear a word you said. You say, go slow. I've fallen behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. Time after time. true color shining through.
Yes, Olivia.
Okay,
Yes, right in my. There we go, everybody. How exciting was that? You guys, what a show. You get everything on this show. Thank you to La Mama for putting on this weird experiment in cyber cafe, cabaret, theater. Woo!
Put these on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, Olivia's using my collection. All right,
So
go for it.
good.
Okay, all right. I like it. Yeah, I want
Which
some.
ones? You want
Not those.
Obama?
No, I'll take Obama.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take Obama. All right. All right.
Yeah,
So
look at us.
so look at us. So Olivia, before we talk about you, let's talk about that arrangement for a second.
Okay, so I was thinking those two songs, they kind of work well together, and I Googled it and there was no mashup. So I actually had my friend write me this mashup. His name's Cody Owenstein. He's the assistant conductor of Hadestown on Broadway, but he can't do that right now. So he's making me arrangements from his parents' house in Connecticut. But so thank you for doing that. That was
Thank
him
you,
playing the
Cody
guitar.
Owenstein.
Thanks,
Very nice
Cody.
job. You know,
Thank
it's
you.
hard in these times. It's like you got to get a piece of Scotch tape and an
Yeah,
eggshell and
Yeah.
a cardboard box and use it as a speaker.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
that's kind of what it's like.
yes.
This is the dawn of a new artistic something. And you know what? I'm not ready for it, people.
No,
I am
they
not.
wanted us to shoot a commercial in the
I
apartment.
can't.
the
I don't know.
other day.
I'm not TikTok
Yeah.
savvy. We're gonna have to get TikTok
We're gonna have
savvy.
to get TikTok savvy. We have to learn how to shoot TV shows in our apartments.
I liked your little mask reference at the top of the
Thank
song.
you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know. Oh, first of all, I should tell you that Chris Ignacio and you did
we
Miss
did Miss
Saigon.
Saigon together in Florida.
He was
Yeah,
watching.
we
so
were
thank you.
we were in the Miss Saigon in the Florida. It was quite an experience.
And Paul Sprigg, who is currently living and working in Japan, sends a little shout out to you.
hi.
She's Japanese, Paul. So
Konnichiwa.
konnichiwa. Yeah, he's in Fukushima.
Okay.
Yeah, and he takes
I
beautiful.
bet everyone's wearing their masks there, huh?
I bet they are.
I bet they are too.
We were wearing our masks.
In
We'll have you know.
February.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
And people were looking at us like we had a problem. We're like, first of all, people, number one, we are Asian Americans. So we already wear masks anytime we're in public, especially subways and planes and stuff.
You gotta be careful.
You got,
Yeah.
the germs. And secondly, fuck you, because COVID.
A lot of people had an opinion. They were like, "Oh, look at you guys all suited up." Well, yeah, we were ahead of the curve. We
We
had on
were
the
ahead
gloves
of
and
the
the
curve.
masks and the sunglasses and the hats. Fully suited hazmat suits to walk the dog. So
we want to live,
you
is
know,
why.
yeah,
We're trying to
yeah.
live and we're trying to. She has an old mom. Not too
Yeah.
old, Karen. Sorry, not too old. Not
I
too
don't
old.
think she's so old she couldn't figure out how to watch this, so don't worry. Sorry, it's like the bane of my existence every day is trying to teach her how to send a PDF.
She's one of those ones who FaceTimes and it's like this. Hi, Olivia.
And then she
how are
hangs
you?
up and she doesn't hang up. I hear the rest of her day from her pocketbook. So she's probably not watching, but if you're watching, Mom, you're so young.
You're still young,
You're
Karen. so
72
young.
and
Years young.
29 at heart.
Olivia, before I let you go back to my couch from where
Okay.
you were watching the
Yes.
rest of this, let's talk about let's talk about this. Olivia is a jewelry maker. Now you can
Oh,
see
wow.
here, this is one of Olivia's original. The bottom piece is from Olivia, and the top piece was actually the red one with the rhinestones was made by a couple of guys that
This one here,
we're
yes.
sponsoring who are currently living in. Let's show that one first.
So
This is made
top
by
one,
Julio. Yeah.
Because you have to hold the mic. This one right here was made by Julio and Friday.
Julio and Freddie are two Honduran asylum seekers that our whole community of artist friends bonded out of ICE detention and who are awaiting their trial safely in Los Angeles. And this bottom one,
This right here is me.
Olivia made. And you
Yes.
can check out her work on her Facebook page and also
Yeah, on my
where else?
Instagram, I have the link to my Etsy where I sell my bracelets. It's called Kanojo Jewelry, which means girl in Japanese. Not girl jewelry didn't sound good, but Kanojo Jewelry had a ring to it. So you can go on my Instagram and the link is in my bio. When they say link in bio, it's to get a bracelet. You can also get a face mask made by aforementioned not old
72-year-old
mom
not
Karen.
old mom.
Not old mom Karen.
Yeah, not old mom Karen is making handmade
Face
designer
masks.
face masks. I like her
Yes.
Tiger King
Tiger
series.
King, I think there's only one left.
There's only
But
one left, people.
you
You gotta
might
go
want
get
to
it.
jump on that because Karen's stuck in the house just making some masks. So
Elizabeth
yeah.
Ziff, who is the sister of Amy Ziff, who was not with us just now,
Right.
wants to know why we're standing next to each other and if we're lovers, which is a creepy ass thing to say.
Mhm.
This girl played my daughter. She's not my lover. She's practically my daughter. Come on, we've been quarantining together since the beginning, since February. When we first realized there was going to be a problem, we decided to quarantine together because we were like, it's too lonely otherwise.
It's too lonely otherwise.
Yeah,
so you just have 90 Day Fiance. And
we watch 90 Day Fiance and we cook. Olivia, it's been such a pleasure. I might have you come back at the end to say goodbye to the people since you're going to be on my couch.
I will go right over
Yeah, go right over there.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to introduce now an artist who's also nearby on the Upper West Side, who I haven't seen in a while, but who is our token phallus this evening, our token guy in a cast of all women. He happens to be a white guy, bonus for the tokenness. But I am actually so honored to have him here. He's one of the original deaf poets from HBO's Deaf Poetry Jam. You've seen him on Broadway in Lucky Guy recently with Tom Hanks and Deirdre Lovejoy. You like that, Brian? How I just used Dee Dee and Tom? That's it. That's the only stars I'm going to mention besides you. Brian is also Brian's also a wonderful playwright who's written quite prolific, Brian, many plays, both in verse and in prose. I think tonight he's sharing some poetry. It's a surprise to me, though, because I don't know actually what pieces he's going to do, but he agreed to be here to be part of this expression of emotion and thought during the art stravaganza for the pandemic. So here, without further ado, is the wonderful artist, Brian Dykstra.
Bricks, building what? Neighborhoods, community centers, organized brick by brick from the ground up like a. You mean the whole time? That's hilarious. Can you hear me now? What do I need to do? From the top. Bricks, building walls, bunkers, brick by brick, building thick chimneys, soot, slick smokestacks, thick as a brick shithouse. Big dick guard towers, tall, yard thick walls to keep our kind safer, your kind outer, our kind warmer, your kind trapped or incarcerated or caged or raging outside where sometimes it's mad brick or building shelters, churches, Dutch, yellow brick, off to see the wizard roads, mosques, synagogues, the Wailing Wall, schools, clinics, facades, quick limestone bricks, buildings. 3 pigs, safety isn't in straw and sticks. Huff and puff all you want. My house is made of bricks, red bricks, mortar, and masonry, and you can't blow that shit down. You are not big enough. You are not bad enough. You are not wolf enough. One big bad wolf whistle in a red brick schoolhouse. Why, thank you. Catcalls in castle walls, hospitals, hostels, health clinics, hospices, Stonehenge. Stonehenge? Yeah, just big bricks. Building what? neighborhoods, community centers, organized brick by brick from the ground up like crushed brick infield under little leaguers stealing second, dusty red clay bricks, building communities, open or closed, hidden or exposed, black cats in clothes, bricked up, closed like Edgar Allan Poe's prose. Exposed bricks, cornerstone, firehouses, stick together tenements, layers of bricks, teeming with bricklayers, building their own future. Out of bricks, red, yellow, brown, bricks built towns, villages, cities, states, nations, empires, Rome. No, Rome was not built in a day, but it was constructed with bricks, building pyramids, Mayan, Incas, Aztecs, Machu Picchu, Pueblo cave cities, Chichen Itza, every anthropological city digging bricks. You dig? Made of mud or straw or clay, squeezed dry, sun-dried, tomato red, blood red bricks, tossed into the thick of things, thrown in protest, shattered glass or even glass bricks. I can't hear you when you stick your brick in my ear, you prick. 10,000 years of bricks building or thrown, constructing or destructing porticos or prisons, juke joints or jails, town squares or Treblinka, border fences or broader foundations. Tell me, brick masons, what tricks are you planning to do with your bricks? Because we can tell how slick you are, or how quick you are, or how thick you are, or just how sick you are by seeing when and where you stick and what you choose to do with the bricks you bake, with the bricks you take, and just what you plan to make with your particular bricks. When the fox guards the hen house, when we make up attacks, when we denigrate science or fuck with the facts, when they call us all traitors, when they shit smear the press, there's a small man in charge with his hands up my dress. When we're grabbed by the pussy, when we're shot in the street, that's democracy failing, frail, weakened, and beat. When we're waving our banners with our rainbows on flags, there's a smaller man calling, trust God, he hates fags. When ignoring old glory for Confederate stars, it's familiar, this story, more of ours behind bars. When our press getting threatened and our speech taking heat, when a judge is belittled via thumb-sucking tweet, when we watch him give speeches while conspirators plot, there's a small man in charge with small hands in the pot. He stands up there before us, swears he's giving us all. That small man in charge doesn't want to stay small. When they steal our honor and destroy what we preach, there's a school in Dayton underfunded to teach a new student with promise with untapped potential, but the charter they bartered shows a huge differential. When our children are learning what the small men would teach them, it isn't surprising that a small man might reach them. When he fills up his cabinet with ambition unchained, when there is no reward for us using our brain because the planet is heating but the drilling goes on, that's a sleigh ride worth skipping when the sea ice is gone. When the pandemic comes, he says shit to his base while the lies that he lies spits his spit in our face. But his podium glistens and his dais is packed. There's a small man in charge with the wind at his back. With black churches burning and synagogues bombed, with immigrants trapped like an early pogrom, when mosques are on notice, everybody's a spy. The world has gone blind because an eye for an eye. With small fingers on buttons to our nuclear arms, the small man in charge says, I mean you no harm, but his peace to resistance is resistance to peace as long as his cronies can sell tanks to police. There's a movement afoot where we're all getting battered. With cops armed like armies, how much do lives matter? So we try to resist it with a march on the street while the NSA spies on the people we meet. We follow the logic. I've nothing to hide, so why should I worry about how we spied? But now there's an issue. A small man in charge, and that warrantless tapping seems maybe too large. If we stop him this time, it's because we are knowing that the small man's a danger when the small man starts growing. We all feed and then water this small weed in the grass just by ignoring what is coming to pass, or we can stand here and take out a rake and sharpen the edges and beat on the snake. There's a snake in the garden. There's a small man in charge. There's a 7-headed dragon when that small man grows large.
Yes, yes. I'm giving you the
The
snaps.
finger snap.
You are getting the snaps. Brian Dykstra is getting the old-fashioned Nuyorican Poets Cafe Bowery Poetry Club, downtown, uptown, all around snaps. Yes. Was that in blank verse or was I mistaken? I thought I heard 5 heartbeats in those lines, but perhaps I was wrong.
The second piece was 2 long couplets. There's a snake in the garden. There's a small man in charge. There's a 7-headed dragon when that small man grows large. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey man, did you write those in quarantine or did you write those before?
I wrote those before. Although the second one I was commissioned to write this 1-act play that fell apart because all the money went away, and so it's never been performed.
You know what? I'm still kind of like vibing with the poem, so I'm trying to get my interview head together to talk about you as an artist and writer. But you know, you really do embody the spirit of this Café La MaMa, which is hyphenate performers who do and writers who do more than one thing. And it's surprising that each person that's on this program actually has a wide variety of talents and interests, and you are no exception. So where are you at in your life right now? I mean, we'll talk about the quarantine in a second, but as an artist, you know, at this moment, are you leaning towards any one particular form of output, or are you still like, across all media, king of all media?
Well, I mean, the heartbreak of this thing for me, and I personally, like that matters, the sense that performers won't have an outlet until possibly as late as 2021, because, you can do sports. You don't have to do it in front of an audience. You can televise it. Without an audience, there's no reason to have theater. So that idea, because TV and film is fine, but to me, it pays for my theater habit. Don't get me wrong, I'll do it. But so right now, I just feel like the writer in me who gets to be introverted and solitary doesn't mind this. I mean,
right.
This experience, this reality. I mean, the reality of it minds it a lot, but the day-to-day work, I saw a political cartoon where there was an extrovert on one side going crazy and an introvert on the other side calmly sipping tea and sitting at his computer. And part of the time I'm just like, yeah, it's just fine.
I think you hit upon something great. A lot of artists are both of those characters at the same time. We are introverts who spend a lot of time trying to create and form creative expression based on some deeper truth. And then we're extroverts who really want to be in front of an audience and communicate and vibe off that energy, and also be in a give and take situation. So I don't know, my friend. I'm starting to worry. Are you worried about live performance?
Well, I mean, it's coming back, but the question is when. I'm worried. I mean, the stupid American thing in me is that's how I get paid. So that's my number one, that's my job. The rest of it can turn into something, and in the past has turned into income, but it's not where my career trajectory has been going. So I miss, if I'm worried financially, it's that part. It's like not that I don't go 6 months without having a job. I've been there too. So,
but you could get a job. You could get a job. It was out there, man. Just beyond your reach, like that carrot. You're the horse running after it. It was there,
right.
And now, what? And you live with a director too. You live with a theater director.
Yeah.
Woo! So how's the mood?
I think we're incredibly lucky to live in an apartment that's not cramped and full of people. We like each other. there's no domestic violence here, although you can't take that from me. You'll have to have Margaret jump in and add that. I mean, coming from the man, of course there's no domestic violence here. I can't believe I'm joking about domestic violence, but that's where we are.
Hashtag too soon. Hashtag too soon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's not. It's it's a pot boiler for everybody. Actually, domestic violence incidences are up significantly, but thank God Governor Cuomo has been talking about that. Yeah, and they've been putting phone lines and hotlines. And if anybody here happens to be experiencing an uptick in domestic violence, you want to call 311 and get your resources. But let's go back to us now in this relatively unviolent circumstance that we're in on the Upper West Side. Let's talk about your first piece a little bit before we go, because I want to hear a little more about the ethos going into that the walls piece.
Bricks. Yeah, a friend of I wrote a piece that I wrote a play in spoken word dialogue form. It's 4 characters and they all speak in different spoken word forms. And there comes a time where they have a kind of rap battle, and little Latin girl has to introduce Double D, and she decides to throw this in as her introduction of him in order to get involved in the battle herself, which spoiler alert, she might end up winning.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go in just a second, but I want to know if people want to know more about you and your work as a poet, as a writer, as an actor, what do they do?
Well, I'm at briandykstra.net.
They join you on social?
They can, I missed, and then you can actually just start Googling Brian Dykstra poetry, and then you'll have videos show up delivered directly to you. Google.
This is an authentic New York voice. Thank you, Brian Dykstra, for joining us on Café La MaMa live all the time. Thank you for your beautiful words, and I'll see you on the Upper West Side.
Great. Have fun.
All right, everybody. We've got just 1 or 2 more people left on Café La MaMa Live, Cinco de Mayo version, the 5th iteration. This next artist I have known since our days at the Juilliard School together. She also, surprisingly and yet not surprisingly, is a multidisciplinarian. She is best known for her work as a principal dancer with the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. She is now teaching at the American Ballet Theater and is either the first or one of the first, she'll tell me in a minute, African-American teachers on faculty there, which is an incredible feat. She's also a writer and a poet herself. And appearing from her own living room in Harlem. Come on, that is so cool, you guys. When do you get to see this? Never. Coming to you live now, the gorgeous, the accomplished, and the inimitable Briana Reed.
Si Jesús tiene sueño, bendito sea, bendecida mejores, ay, sonora, mi Señor que nos ama, cantando lloras, vaya mientras alguna se balancea. Nanita, nana, nanita, hey, nanita, nana, nanita, hey, nanita, hey. Si Jesús tiene sueño, bendito sea, bendecida mejores, la sonora, mi Señor que nos ama, cantando lloras, vaya mientras la luna se balancea, nanita, nana, nanita, hey. Nanita, nana, nanita, hey, nanita, hey. Si Jesús tiene sueño, bendito sea, bendecida mejores, ahora es sonora, mi Señor que nos ama, cantando lloras, vaya mientras la cuna se balancea, nanita, nana, nanita, hey.
You get the dance snaps as well. The dance snaps, here they are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Briana. Well, what can I say? I mean, that's a woo! Café La MaMa from all over the city. Oh yeah,
Café La MaMa in the house, honey.
you're getting some serious applause in the next room here from my quarantine partners, and I'm sure all over the world.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
This is going to sit on the La MaMa Facebook page and on the website and on the CultureHub. So it's got another life after tonight as well, just so you know. How wonderful that you could join us tonight,
Cool.
Briana. How wonderful. Now, you heard my intro. Was I right? Are you the first or one of the first African-American faculty members at American Ballet Theater?
I think one of the first on the ballet faculty, because you know Adrian Hurd is there on Horton, but I'm the only on the ballet faculty.
And tell me a little bit about what you do there, and then we'll go backwards a little bit. Tell me about that job.
So I am an ABT certified teacher. Whew. Catch my breath, honey. Wow, since Juilliard, right? No, but I'm an ABT certified teacher. I teach all of the levels of ballet, and I love teaching the children. I'm a teaching fellow there. Great, good times.
And have you found,
I love giving back.
You're one of the few serious professional dance. I mean, I know a few from Juilliard, but you're one of the ones that I'm in contact with on a regular basis. And so it's been really interesting to watch your career, first out there on stage all the time, now sometimes on stage, also moving into, other areas like pop music and hip hop. You've done some interesting gigs outside of ballet and Ailey. Can you tell us about that a little bit? Because people don't know how diverse a dancer's career can be.
Sure, yeah. I did my little start in acting was on The Get Down. I've just a small little part dancing. And then Beyonce at the VH1 Music Awards. And I'm going into writing. I love writing children's books, acting, everything. I just feel it's so important to be a Renaissance artist, especially in these times where we don't know what's coming. Everything's so uncertain. It's so important to just try to do everything. A choreographer that really influenced my career was Jeffrey Holder. And he was like telling me, always do everything, figure out if you can't do it, let it go, but always try everything. So I just think it's important. You never know where your talents are. So to just do and try and be open to everything, and you never know what you'll receive. But especially in this time period where everything is so uncertain, it's like you were saying earlier, live theater, we don't know when that's coming back or how long the delay will be. So what else are you developing within yourself? What else are you developing? Because we're full human beings as artists. Yeah.
Do you feel like when you are, I know, because you've done spoken word and acting and of course dance, do you feel like you're speaking from different places when you do those different disciplines, or is it the same well, or is the vocab, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to draw on different parts, or is it all the same part with different expressions?
Well, I think there's just like, I think there's just, we're multifaceted human beings. So there's different parts of yourself. And I think that everything that we do just becomes an expression of who we are and who we're building ourselves into, kind of like Brian was saying, brick by brick, but we want to put the right bricks together.
When you were coming up as a young African-American dancer, do you think it was different than it is now, or kind of the same, or what's the landscape like?
Well, I think that I definitely was the only in the room a lot of times. I think now that isn't the case as much. However, there is issues with where are these African-American dancers going to dance, because, you know, we celebrate the one, you know, here or there. There's only Ailey and DTH that are, you know, really multicultural companies. And other companies, you have a sprinkle here and there. So my concern with dancers today is where are the opportunities for them to express themselves as artists, because it can't be just one or two or three in these large companies that have been predominantly, you know, white companies for hundreds of years, you know, 100 years or 80 years.
Do you want to talk about
what have you?
You want to talk about your kids' book, or no? That your pitch. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, or not? Still too fresh.
No, not on air.
Okay. Well, she's writing an incredible kids' book that's in the dance world, and that's all I can say about it then. Briana, where can people find out more about your work or see more? Because I'm sure they're going to want to see more after seeing that.
You can follow me on Instagram at Bria, BRIA 103. That's my handle, and catch what's going on. I post what I'm doing or what have you.
Great dance video.
Yeah.
Before we go, I forgot to ask you, I should have, but I was too overcome or verklempt. The piece that you just did is a new piece you just made for tonight, correct?
Yes, literally today.
Today? What? See, this is what happens when you have a professional.
That's a great thing. So listen, this is the great thing about this being in this time, and what we were talking about earlier about being multifaceted human beings and developing yourself, is that you asked me to do something. I went a whole nother direction. I picked a whole nother song. And then today I wasn't feeling it. And you remember when I texted you, I was like, I don't like that song. I want to use another song. And then I came up with that then. And I just feel like these opportunities to do things like this, or people like you, like, you know, your soul tribe, these people that stay in your life that you may not speak to every day, but that really, when they come in, they come and bring something. So thank you. I love you for that. But it also made me be like, okay, I have to do it. I told her I was going to do it. So let's create something that hopefully touches somebody, says something to somebody, and is in the spirit of what someone needs right now.
Well, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And if any of you are tuning in late, I hope you rewind a little bit to the top of this interview and check out that new piece of dance that Briana Reed gave us today. She's Bria103 on Instagram. I love you, my friend, and I will see you soon in the hood.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, we are coming just about to the end of Café La MaMa 5 Cinco de Mayo, but you know, no show that I was giving would be complete without a little homage to Asian American culture, or in this case, Asian American Heritage Month. And you know, like I said, and I mentioned this a little bit before, but I'm going to mention it again, during this time of COVID, hate crimes, harassment, and cyberbullying of Asian Americans is up by 900%. I follow all the Asian groups. Lisa Ling is getting trolled like nobody's business right now. Sounds like a joke, but it's actually true. I'm sure even Lucy Liu is not immune. I know that I'm not. So in the spirit of standing up for all of the Asian American community with a little resistance and rock and roll, I would like to bring to you now a favorite work of my own, which deals with stereotypes. It deals with recognizing that not all Asian people are Chinese, Indonesian. Also, not all Chinese people are a communist government that may or may not be hiding secrets about a global pandemic. We are all human beings, and this is a little Rice Rice Baby for you.
Cross-cultural confusion say, wise guy round eye no should be afraid to trade in his home fries for a nice bowl of steamed what? Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Okay, you wanna steam my dumpling? Slanty mama gonna make your roll spring. Hi, Mr. Round Eye White Guy. How you like my straight hair and slanty eyes? Straight hair, even straight hair down there. If you look in my Hello Kitty underwear, call me, I'll set you straight. When you take me on a racially mixed date, rice. What the Honky Brothers call me, spice. Garlic ginger but no MSG. And if a player wanna kick some Asian game, I say, what you think, all Asian hoochie look the same? Perhaps your chinks and emperor Hawaiian. Those Japs might be gooks made in Taiwan. Order by number, till you get it straight. Till you're ready for this dish on your hot plate. Rice, rice, baby. A single white female, hold still while I manicure your nail just right with a delicate French tip. I got your French tip, wanna see where I shoved it down like a sumo on the tarmac. Down, Mount Fuji's on your back. Hot Asian mamas in every direction, gonna give the boys a big connection. 1-900 Ching Chong, live action with live Susie Wong. Oriental babes, Oriental tricks. I know how to chop your stick. Jump in my wok, I'll get the oil. Bring your noodle to an east-west boil. Order by number, sour or sweet. You don't have to be Asian to eat. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Yeah, daddy, I'll take in your laundry. Be a Mata Hari to your James Bond. Relax, 15-minute massage. Or maybe nice origami corsage for your dream date with an Asian prom queen. Trade your milk for a cup of rice dream. What you think, Chinks? I'll tell you what it's about. Who round I see when he goes out? Who do you see when you pay for your laundry? Who do you see when you pay for your sushi rollin'? Asians into one concept. Things you buy needed most electronics. Opium, Olympic level ping pong. But there's more than ping pong in the life of a ching chong boy. There's a whole nother world in the heart of this Oriental girl. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Rice, rice, baby. Oh yeah, take me home, Doris. In a nice white box. Come on, I got your chopstick. I said word to your mamas. And word to your Dalai Lamas. Oh, yeah. That tasted pretty good.
Yeah. Little rice baby to close out the show. You know how we do here at La Mama. We keep it edgy, we keep it real, we keep it inclusive. Olivia, come and say goodbye to the people. My quarantine partner, ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Oguma. We're still wearing something from my sunglasses collection. Thank you, Olivia, for your participation.
Thank you for having me, La Mama. Yeah.
Thank you to all the artists that were with us tonight. Yeah, you keep dancing. We're dancing to imaginary music. Thank you to Brian Dykstra of Deaf Poets and playwright extraordinaire. Thank you, Briana Reed, former Ailey, principal dancer, teacher at ABT, writer and poet. Thank you, Bridget Barkan of the Scissor Sisters and of her own one-woman legend in her living room. Woo! And thank you to Mrs. Ida Rosenberg for filling in for Amy Ziff. We had a terrific time with you on Cinco de Mayo. We love you from New York City. Please stay safe, wear your mask outside, and stay creative. Good night.